welcome back to the channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and here it is. This is my official tips for week 1 of the Rugby League World Cup for 2022, technically known as the Rugby League World Cup 2021, but obviously COVID impacted the way the name is right now, so it is Rugby League World Cup 2021, but not going to be too fussed about that one because it's the World Cup anyway in general. It's an exciting time of the year when it's on, and it's the first one in a while, so I really am looking forward to the weekend ahead. Obviously did my preview on Monday there. Got some good views and got some good support off that one video. So hopefully you can sort of continue throughout this one when you do go through my tips and see who I got. And yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going to sort of rock on with it, you know. Going to go for my tips, going to go through some predictions like first try scorer tips, anytime try scorer tips, and I guess after that, just go off my margin of what I'm tipping this nation to win by, etc. So I hope you all enjoy it. Before I go into any further sort of detail, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Currently at 2,370 subscribers, so that is a very big improvement compared to where I was at the start of the week. So I guess that goes to show that the support's there and the support's getting better. So hopefully if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe if you're new. Would be greatly appreciated if you could, and that's what I'm asking for. I'm not going to obviously force anyone's hand to do what and subscribe, but if you're enjoying the content, then it would be greatly appreciated if you could, even you. But my tips are about to be underway. So the very first game to kick off the Rugby League World Cup is England versus Samoa at St James Park. So yeah, against the very first match of the Rugby League World Cup, it is England versus Samoa at St James Park, Newcastle, over there in England. So this does kick off on the Sunday, so that's officially when the World Cup starts, on the Sunday, October 16th. It'll be midnight when the game starts in Australia, but you know that doesn't really bother me anyway. I'll still be up and watching it. Yeah, I'll be up watching it, so I have no dramas there. But yeah, look, should be an interesting game, this one, because England do have a good squad, and I guess the advantage of the England team playing in England is going to be really big for them going forward, as most of the players I have are Super League players, and most of them would have experiences the English grounds, and wouldn't be anything new to them. So I think they'll adapt all right. But they do have some issues with missing players and a little bit depleted. But other than that, it's a great team. As for Samoa is still a dark horse in my opinion. I can't write them off. I think that their squad's pretty talented as well. They're definitely going to push the England side. But it remains to be seen if they'll win. But I do give these sides a massive chance to go the whole way this year, in my opinion. So, looking at both sides, the interesting matchup for me is going to be the centres. I think Herbie Farnworth and Callum Watkins up against Isaac Tago. Hang on a second. They've really mucked this team list up here. They've mucked this team list up really badly. It has Milford at 5'8" and Josh Papali'i at halfback. Okay, well, ignore that because that's a real failure right there. I don't know what they've been missing there in the team list. But I was going to say, yeah, the key matchups are pretty much the centres for me. But I guess, the centres are a bit muddled up. So, going to go with Callum Watkins versus Stephen Crichton with a bit of experience versus youth there. Obviously, Callum Watkins was in the NRL for a short stint at the Titans, which was a failure, obviously. But he's killing it over in the Super League, and he's always been a great Super League player. So I guess that him versus Stephen Crichton, who's only 22 years old and has already won 2 premierships, is going to be a good battle, I think, for those two centres. So I'm looking forward to that one. The fullback, Sam Tompkins, who's the captain for England, versus Joseph Suaalii, who's making his test debut for Samoa. So I guess that'll be another interesting battle as well. I mean, Suaalii is a great talent. I think he's got a big future, with Tompkins being experienced and him being a very good player himself would be good. Then the forward pack is going to be a great battle with Luke Thompson, Elliot Whitehead, Victor Radley, all there for England, up against Aloye, Sua, Paulo, and Levi. So it's not a bad crop of forwards both sides have, but yeah, I suppose it's going to be very hard to split that one. But who am I going to tip? I'm going to tip England to win here by 10 points. I think England are going to come out firing. I think that the advantage of playing in England is going to help them throughout this first week of the World Cup. So I'm going back in England by 10 here, and I'm going to go for first try. I'm Going to go a bit of a rough here. I'm going to go with Jack Wellesby for first try. So I'm going to back in Wellesby for the try here. I think it says jersey number 6 for him, but his name on the wing. So I don't know where he's actually playing because they're very confusing. But I am going to say Wellesby for first try in general anyway. And my anytime try scorer is going to be Watkins and Mackinson. And for Samoa, I'm going to go with Try anytime. And I'm also going to go with Danny Levi anytime from dummy half. So they're my tips and predictions there for that one. Alright, on to the next one is Australia versus Fiji at 5:30 AM on the Sunday there as well. So probably going to stay up for this one as well. Probably going to try and make an effort to wake up and watch this one. So obviously it's going to be very tough staying away for every sort of game this week. But hey, it's the World Cup, it's worth it. But yeah, I think I have a good chance because I wake up early on weekdays. So going to be watching this one for sure. I think Australia versus Fiji. So yeah, look at Henley Stadium there. That's the home ground of the Leeds Rhinos. So yeah, no, it should be good this game. It's very interesting, very intriguing sort of match with Fiji having a lot of talent, a lot of potentially great players that have experience, but there's some inexperience there as well. But that there's talent there. There's some raw talent there that's yet to be seen. So I'm looking forward to that for Fiji, especially if you support them. And as for Australia, they're a star-studded team, always have been. Yeah, you expect nonetheless from them, especially with guys like Tedesco, Adokar, Holmes, DC, Munster, Hunt. So it's very star-studded, and I expect them to go pretty well in this World Cup if I'm Australia. So yeah, look, I'm gonna go through some of the key matchups I believe, and sort of analysis both teams. So. A key matchup for me I like is Holmes versus Nguama. That's going to be a good matchup, I think. Both of them are very experienced centres, and that's going to be a pretty good battle in my opinion. So Holmes versus Nguama, the two centres will be good. The halves, obviously Munster, DC are better than Mosadreki and Wakem, but you never know. I mean, Wakem's been good for the Bulldogs New South Wales Cup team this year, and Mosadreki haven't seen him play in a while, but from memory, it was a good winger at South. So that's the last time I've seen him play. So we'll see how he goes in the halves. But Munster, DC, definitely above them. And yeah, the forward packs, obviously, without the Panthers and Eels players for Australia, it makes it a bit harder as they are still resting from the grand final. But I think with guys like Tino, Jake in there, Nanai on debut, Murray, Crichton, it's still decent enough to make damage, I think. And Fiji's forward pack isn't bad either, with Coruscant, Kikia, Kamakamika there. But yeah, it's obviously going to be a very, very one-sided looking forward pack, in my opinion. But you never know. You never ever know. But my tip for this game, I'm going to back Australia here to win probably by about 16 points. I think Australia will be a bit too good for Fiji. I see Fiji starting well, but I think Australia's class gets them in the home in the end. So Aussies by 16, and my first try scorer is going to be Josh Adokar on the wing, wearing number 9, which I don't get why Australia have put this thing together of wearing different numbers in different positions. It's stupid in my opinion, but it is what it is. So I'll be back in the Fox for first try, and anytime try scorer is going to be Tedesco, Latrell, and Tulangi. And as for Fiji, I'm going to back in Nguama for a try, and I'm also going to go with Taruva for a try as well for Fiji. Okay, now on to where my nation, Italy, who I'm supporting in the World Cup, will take on Scotland. Yeah, at Kingston Park in Newcastle. So, yeah, look, usually in the World Cup, I'd usually support Australia, as that's probably my preference in supporting the World Cup in the past. But no, this year, as I guess seeing Italy now playing the World Cup, and obviously when I was younger, I used to always back Australia. But now that, I'm seeing Italy, they're a bit more now in the World Cup, I'm starting to think that maybe I should back my own heritage for once. And I'm supporting Italy in the World Cup for this year, and hopefully they go well. But they do take on Scotland, who has a very experienced team. And with Italy, unfortunately, their team isn't as experienced as what it used to be, with guys like Weira, Tedesco, who obviously now is at Australia, you can't blame him for that. Vaughan, Alvaro. So we do have a lot of talent, but I guess not all of them are available, and obviously some are retired, some are just committed elsewhere, etc. So we can't do anything about it, but at least we've got some experience. We've got Nathan Brown there, who's our captain, so I think he'll do a good job, the Parramatta Eels forward. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what the outcome of the game is on the Monday night there at 12:30. So I'll be up for that one for sure. Gonna go look on the NRL website. They don't have the teams announced yet, but on Instagram there is. So I'm gonna go through and look at Italy's team. So obviously not the most experienced looking team, but they do have some exciting talent like Daniel Atkinson, who's in the centres. Made his debut for the Storm. Only played one game for the Storm in 2021. That was in round 25, I believe, and that's his only game since then. Dean Parada is a very experienced player that's yet to debut. Was at Parramatta for a bit and Penrith, I believe, in the reserve grade for a couple of years. Nathan Brown, who's obviously our most experienced player, is our captain at lock. And Brendan Santi's a vice captain as well. So Brendan Santi used to play in the NRL of the West Tigers and now plays for Keeley. That's a team that got promoted to the Championship in the Super League for next year. So not a bad team, but we'll see how they go. And as for Scotland, just give me a second. Just going to get the Scotland team up now on Instagram. A bit annoying how it's not released on the actual NRL app yet. So Scotland Rugby League. Yeah, there we go. So Scotland Rugby League. What have they got? They've got a pretty good team with some experienced players and a lot from Super League, obviously, as well. So their team pretty much is made out of Lewis Clark at fullback is someone that I've heard of pretty well. Yeah, I know him fairly well. I've heard his name a couple of times through some English podcasts and all that. Who else is there? Yeah, look, there's not a whole lot, but you know they're going to be okay. I think Scotland, I think they've got some talent. There's someone I do realise in that lineup. His name is Logan Bayliss-Bro. So Logan Bayliss-Bro is someone that plays for the Cowboys in the reserve grade right now, but used to be in the Broncos reserve grade a couple of years ago. So interesting to see him there. Ewan Aiken, Kane Lind are experienced. James Bell, who plays for obviously St Helens in the Super League, and then Kyle Schneider, who's played for Parramatta. He's a young rookie I know, and Davey Dixon and Bailey Hayward. So yeah, no, there's talent there for Scotland. Obviously a bit more experience and a bit more, I guess, noticeable players than what Italy have. But you know, it's an even game in my opinion. But as for who I'm backing, Scotland or Italy, I know everyone's going to back Scotland because of experience and the team that they have is better than ours. But look, you can say I'm being biased here, but you know, you go back your team, I guess, in the World Cup. I mean, it's the first time I'm really backing Italy in the World Cup to my own heritage. So why not? I can back them, and I can sort of hope and predict them to get the winner here over Scotland. So we'll see what happens. Wouldn't be surprised if we lost, but I'll back them. They're my heritage. I'll have to back them. So I'm going to go Italy by probably 4 points to beat Scotland there at Kingston Park. And I'm going to go with first try scorer. First try scorer is going to be a bit roughy. So there's a winger for Italy called Richard Lapardi, and he's very experienced. He's one of our only few experienced players there. He plays in the English, plays in the Championship in the Super League there. So I think I'll back him for first try, Richard Lapardi, and anytime try scorer for Scotland, Ewan Aiken. Hang on, it's hard to keep switching screens. And clicking through screens here, it's because it's hard that it's not on the one website. I reckon for Scotland also, Lewis Clark will score at fullback, and I reckon that Kieran Buchanan will score as well. And I think another one for Italy anytime is going to be Brendan Sandy in the back row. Alright, on to the very fourth game now of the week one of the Rugby League World Cup. It is Jamaica versus Ireland. So these two sides are in Pool D. So it is going to be an interesting one when these two sides do play, only because they're both teams I'm not really sure of, to be honest. I'm not sure what their capabilities are as a side. And, you know, obviously Jamaica is a very unknown team, in my opinion. I've never really seen their squad before their team play. So they're a new team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. As for Ireland, for example, they've played before in the World Cup, and I've seen them before. They've got some talent and experience there, so interesting to see how they go. So yeah, it'd be a good indication to see what players stand out for both of these sides, because you know, I don't think that they have so much NRL experience apart from for Ireland. They've got a bit, but for Jamaica, there's not really anything there. So it will be interesting to see what happens on the Monday there at 3 a.m. I don't think I'll be watching this. I don't think I'll be watching this one, but we'll see anyway. But yeah, no, look, going to go through both sides. So again, not on the NRL website. I have to go for Instagram again, unfortunately. So apologies about that. But I'm gonna mention the players I do know from this Island team though. So Richie Mullet at fullback's one I know. Ed Chamberlain I've heard of. Toby King, yes I know. Super League player. Luke Keary in the halves, yep I know him for sure. Josh Cook, Jamin Joel from the Titans, yep. James Bentley, George King, the back row. The lock. That's a very good player to have in your team in any club, I think. Harry Rushton's there, Brendan O'Hagan, Dan Norman, Henry O'Kane, and James Hassan. So they do have some talent, Ireland, actually. I mean, I wouldn't write them off, actually, now looking at that. Josh Cook at hooker as well. So yeah, actually, Ireland have a decent team in my opinion, so they'll definitely compete and maybe do some good things as well. I hope I get their team up. Jamaica, stand by. Jamaica. Oh, there we go, Rugby League Jamaica. So going to look at their team now, and hopefully it's released like Ireland's team is. So is it? No, it's not. Okay, well that's a shame then. That's a shame. Okay. Well, it's been a bit harder getting indication of what players I think I know and what players I believe will get the first try and etc. So I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to give my tip right now. So I'm tipping Ireland to win by about 12 points. I believe Ireland have a bit too much experience for Jamaica, and that's no disrespect to Jamaica, but I don't think Jamaica have a team to compete or do anything special during the World Cup, in my opinion. So that's why I'm backing Ireland for the win here by 12 points. My first try scorer is probably going to be Richie Mullet at fullback, and my anytime try scorer is going to be Keary and Josh Cook from dummy half after the hooker for Ireland, and maybe George King as well. And for Jamaica, well, actually, the squad's up there, but not in the actual team order though. But I'm going to back in anytime try scorer Alex Young. I believe that's Dominic Young's younger brother, and Dominic Young's playing for England, so he could have played for Jamaica, but playing for England. So I was backing Alex Young, his brother, for a try. Alright, on to the next one. It is Lebanon versus New Zealand now, and this is a very interesting game for both these sides, as I think both sides are a fair chance going the whole way. Well, mainly New Zealand, but as for Lebanon, they're my dark horses for the World Cup for 2022. I did say on Monday in my preview that I believe, Lebanon are the World Cup sort of dark horses, and they're a team that I believe has a fair chance of doing something special if they get it right. So Lebanon for me have a lot of experience as well, like NRL experience and just some experienced players in general, so that will help them a lot, I think. But New Zealand are obviously a class above them, and I think New Zealand will go the whole way, in my opinion. And I did tip that on Tuesday as well. Sorry, Monday as well. So we'll see what happens. I suppose this will be an interesting game on the Monday there at 5:30 a.m. So look. Both their sides haven't been released yet. I don't know why some nations and clubs have released their teams and some haven't, but it is what it is. Just going to give a quick tip, to be honest, just a quick tip and some quick thoughts on the matchup in general. So it's at Halliwell Jones Stadium, so that's Warrington Wolves, home ground Super League club over there. So my quick tip for this game, I'm going to go with New Zealand here by about 18 points. Everyone's saying it could be a smashing, it could be a thumping, but I don't think so. I have Lebanon as my dark horses. I'm going to back them to sort of put up a bit of a fight and sort of go hard. So I've got Lebanon to probably just lose by 18 points. And my first try scorer for New Zealand is probably going to be Rapine on the wing if he's selected. And my anytime try scorer is going to be Matej Lesniak and probably Manu for the Kiwis. And as for Lebanon, back in Mansour. I'm probably going to back in young halfback Rajab, who he might play. If he does, I'll back him for anytime try scorer. So New Zealand by 18. Alright, on to the next one. It is France versus Greece, and France and Greece will take on each other for the first time ever, I believe. They never played each other in a World Cup before, so it will be pretty cool to see these two nations playing against each other for the very first time. So should be an interesting game ahead. Both sides have some limited experienced players, but there is talent, of course, across both sides. For example, for Greece, they've got Lachlan Ilias and Pierre Mamouzelos, the South Sydney duo, who are both who have both got Greek heritage. So I guess that's good to see them represent their heritage there. And obviously France have quite a bit of talent too, and a lot from the Super League, obviously. So should be good to see how these sides do go, and I'm looking forward to it. It is played at Echo Power Stadium in Doncaster, and it's at 5:30 a.m. on the Tuesday. So I could be up for this one watching it, with the way to see. But usually, like I said, usually I'm up pretty early on weekdays. But since unfortunately France and Greece have not both released their teams quite yet, makes it hard for me to look at it again. And I mean, I can look at it on Instagram, but yeah, look, I'm not bothered to go flicking screens and doing all that at the same time. So just going to give a quick tip and some predictions, and that's about it really. So Greece v France, I did rate France quite a bit over Greece this year. I think because France, I feel like have a lot more to give and a lot more players that probably benefit that team a bit more than with Greece. You know, not all the players are there, or not the experience I should say, would probably cost a little bit there in the end. So probably go back in France here by about 14 points. So France by 14, and yeah, look, I think they'll be a bit too good France in my opinion. I'd say that they will be probably the better team. Forward anytime try scorer and first as well. And for Greece, I'm gonna go with Ilias for a try. And if Magulis is playing, I'll back him in as well. So I think France win by 14. On to the next one, it is Tonga versus PNG, and this should be a very good clash, I reckon. This should be a great clash, only because I believe that Tonga have a big chance going the whole way this year. You know, the Tongan team's scary, full of fantastic forwards like Olakawatu, Kalamatangi Takayao, you know, Tamalolo representing them as well. It's a very freaky squad, and oh man, the damage that they can do is scary. Well, Tamalolo is actually out, but they do have a very scary team still, and the backline's still pretty good with Talakai, Kola, you know, guys like New, who's decent as well. So, you know, they're definitely building something. Just the spine, I guess, is a bit of a concern. But as for PNG for me are a very talented team, full of potential. Yeah, there's some NRL experience in there, like Alex Johnson is playing for them, Xavier Coates, and along with another one in, I'm going a little bit blank here. Yeah, Johnson, Coates, and Justin Olam. Yeah, he's another one that's playing for PNG. Great player, Olam, and he grew up in PNG as well, so I know how much it's going to mean for him to put on that PNG jumper and show his you know, character and representing the heritage he's originally from. So it should be a good game, this one. Tonga and PNG have never played before, I believe, in the World Cup, so it should be good to see them play for the very first time. Both team lists aren't really out yet, so I guess that'd be another quick tip and some anytime try scorers, the first try scorer predictions. So who am I going to back? I think I'm going to back Tonga here by 2, but I would not be surprised if PNG wins. So Tonga by 2, but PNG for me are a massive chance going the whole way winning this match. So Tonga by 2, scoreline of maybe 24 points to 22, and my first try scorer, if he does play, I will back in probably. I'm going to back in Kola on the Manly boys. Tolotau Kola for first try. I'm going to back him in, and anytime try scorers for me are going to be Kanala Matangi and Lola here. And for the PNG side, I'm going to go with Alex Johnson. It's like it's normal thing to score a try every game, so I go with AJ for a try. And also back in a bit of a roughie, Ben Nakawabi. He played for the Titans a couple of years ago in 2017, I believe, and I just had a feeling he might score a try. So Ben Nakawabi for anytime try scorer for PNG. And finally, on to the last preview and last tip of the week one for the Rugby League World Cup. So it comes to an end with Cook Islands taking on Wales there on on the Thursday there, the 20th of October, the Group D, so the Pool D in other words. Wales versus Cook Islands at Lee Sports Village Stadium in Lee, so 5:30 a.m, so good chance to clip out for that one as well. We'll see what happens, but yeah, Wales and Cook Islands, it's a very even game in my opinion. I don't have the highest opinion on Wales, I'll be honest. I don't think the Wales are anything special because, they could be. I mean, there could be some hidden gems in there, but only because they don't have any recognisable players or much experience, it could really hurt them in the end, and that's why I don't think they will go very far. But I mean, stranger things have happened before, so I can't write anything off. But as with Cook Islands, they've got a bit of unknowns. They've got some NRL experience and some known players there as well, like Cole Iro, Dylan Napa, etc. So Tedavano there too. So yeah, it definitely helps them, I think, with that experience being there. That's the only difference in the end. That's why I guess with Cook Islands, you know, you have to sort of lean towards them because of experience-wise and how that probably helps them and benefits them into this game against Wales, who don't have many experience and don't have those sort of class players, if you know what I mean. So in saying that, I think Wales are a chance, but I'm going back in Cook Islands win here by about 10 points. I think Cook Islands will be a bit too good, and I expect them to win this game pretty comfortably. My anytime try scorers, or first try scorer, I should say, is going to be from the Cook Islands team, through Cole Ira, the fullback, young Sharks player, but he'll be playing fullback for the Cook Islands, and I believe he'll score the very first try. And anytime try scorer, go Dylan Napa off the bench, or I don't know if he's starting off or off the bench, but I think he'll get a try either way throughout the game somewhere. And the other one for Wales now is going to be Curtis Davies. So I believe that's the halfback, or he's a player in the team. So I just will go him because I don't know too many of the Wales players, I'll be honest. But yeah, they're all my tips and my predictions for the week ahead. I hope you enjoy your Rugby League World Cup content for the week, and it is ahead. Good luck and try and get any sleep, because it's not going to be easy, especially with the World Cup coming up and so many good games to be kicked off early here in Australia. But it's worth it, you know. It's a World Cup, big event, Rugby League. You know, Rugby League tops sleep any day of the week, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your tips for the week ahead.